Yo, going on, Titan Nation? What's going on, everybody? And welcome into finally the post game edition of Titans and Truth. I'm your man Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we're gonna definitely go over this game and definitely um, have some fun. We'll try to have some fun and make some sense of this game that happened yesterday down in South Florida. And this was a very, very tough loss. Ashley, how you doing? Hopefully everybody gets tuned in from Facebook. Everybody gets tuned in and can see me, and we can get this show going, and we're gonna do have a little bit of fun. Make sure y'all share this out to everybody so that others can join in as well. Um, I'm just putting out some information to everybody so that other people could join in as well. I know some of you are not going to get this until tomorrow, but if so, you can still go back and check it out. I'll put it on my Facebook page and everything as well. So that'll be something that will definitely happen there. So let's just get into this game because I have to do something else too, because I'm gonna have to talk. Looks like I'm gonna have to talk a lot of people off the ledge tonight, because I've been listening to radio shows all day and recapping shows that are recapping the game, and I'm just sensing so much negativity. I'm sensing so much negativity in Titan Nation that I just felt like tonight's a good night to kind of reel everybody back in, bring everybody back home, and understand what's going on, and bring everybody back into the fold, and I understand there's concern, but now is not the time to panic. It's just week one. So, before I close out the show, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna go off on a vent. I'm gonna rant a bit, but we're gonna also turn it positive at the end of this rant as well. So I gotta let some feelings out, and I'm just gonna keep it real, because that's what Titans and Truth is all about. It's about telling the truth, and it's about also being honest and being objective. Yes, I am a Titans fan. I'm always going to cheer for the Titans to win. I'm always going to stick by the Titans side, but I'm also going to be honest about what I saw and about what's going on. So, that's what this show is all about, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So let's get right on into it right now. As everybody know, the Titans lost a very tough game last night, 27-20 against the Miami Dolphins. They're 0-1 to begin the year. And this game was lost for a lot of really bad reasons. There was a lot of things that happened in this game, in my opinion, that really played its role in the outcome of this game. As some of y'all saw my pregame show, and I'm sorry, I just now posted it earlier today, but y'all go back and listen to my pregame show, and I was talking about some of the points that I think we need to make to kick off this season. And I said in the Blue Enforcer, 4 ways to victory, and I'm probably going to mess this up. The first thing I said was we got to get off to a good start offensively. I think in a lot of ways, we kind of did get off to a good start. Marcus went down the field on the first drive, and yes, it ended up in a field goal, but you saw there were glimpses of the Titans being effective. For example, Corey Davis got involved rather early. He was involved. He had 6 catches for 62 yards in the whole game. Taywan Taylor, there's no excuse. He should have caught that touchdown pass. Whether it was underthrown or whatever, Taywan Taylor should have caught that touchdown pass in there, and it should have been 7-0 Titans. But, hey, they got a field goal out of it, and I think the drive looked very good to begin the game. And then the second drive, they drove down again. They were making some progress and things like that. And, they went for it on fourth down, and Marcus even said it himself that if he had throw it a little bit more accurate of a ball, Corey Davis probably scores a touchdown there. I agree with that. But at the same time, if I'm a coach and I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm not going for it on fourth down in that situation. In that particular situation, I'm taking the points. I take the point. That might have been, maybe not as gutsy of a call, but anytime you have a chance to put some points on the board early in the game, you take it. You do not go for fourth down in that situation unless you absolutely had to have it. Or now, if it was fourth and goal from the 1 yard line, or from the inside the 5, maybe, allow around maybe the 3, 3 or less, like 3, 2, then yes, then that's where I would probably say, you go for it on fourth down. You try to get a couple of inches into the end zone. But if it's like fourth and goal and you're at the 5 yard line or at the 10 yard line, no, kick the field goal, take the points, go up 6-0. That's what you should do. And I didn't like that play call from Mike Vrabel, but I think the offense got off to a good start. But when Marcus got hurt on that RPO on the option play, when he handed it off to Dion Lewis, that changed the game, because after that, he had some bad throws. He had a couple of interceptions. Before that, he had Luke Stocker, which I think he underthrew it, and Stocker had to stop his route and come back to the ball, which I like that from Stocker, that he came back to the ball. But if Marcus throws it better, that's a touchdown for Luke Stocker. That's a touchdown, and we're up 10-0 instead of having to go for it on fourth down. And I think maybe Marcus in this game at the point was, I think at that point, Marcus maybe was thinking too much. He was worried about, trying to throw the perfect ball every time. He's like, oh my God, don't overthrow it. Don't overthrow it, or something like that. And I think Marcus's confidence is shot because he's not 100% into the offense completely. He's not there yet, but I think he can get there. And, I think that, he has the capability. And that's something I'm going to talk about in my rant later, because I've been hearing a lot of I'm hearing a lot of Titan fans. I'm hearing a lot of negativity. I'm hearing a lot of people giving up on Marcus Mariota now. And don't get me wrong, yesterday's game, I'm not saying that I'm giving up on Marcus Mariota. Yes, a little faith in him is lost a little bit in my opinion, but I still think Marcus can gain that back. I'm not ready to completely give up on Marcus Mariota just yet, and I don't think anybody should either. I mean, I know it's his 4th season. I know this is supposed to be the money season, but ladies and gentlemen, it's just week 1. And that's something I'm going to get into, because I'm like, all this negativity that I am seeing from Titan Nation really has me pissed off. I'm just going to be perfectly honest and kind of go a little uncensored a bit. I'm just going to go a little bit off. Some of y'all Titan fans have pissed me off, and I don't like feeling this way. And later on, I'm going to say why, and I'm going to talk some people off the ledge. So I'm going to save that energy for a little bit later. AZ Mick, how's it going? And yes, that is one of the bright spots of this offense. Corey Davis looked good. Dion Lewis definitely looked good. I'm not even going to lie about that. And I know there's a lot of Derrick Henry fans out there that were wondering, well, where was Derrick Henry? Why was he not in the game? They went with the hot hand. And Dion Lewis was the hot guy. He was making plays. Derrick Henry was not at some points. Derrick Henry had a play later that, ended up in a 62-yard touchdown run that was called back for a absolutely ridiculous penalty. It was, it was probably one of the dumbest penalty calls a ref could make. And you even look on the replay and saw it, that they call holding on Delaney Walker when clearly Delaney Walker, was trying to block basically with one hand. And, if anything, they should have called face mask on the defense. I mean, the defense had a hand, one of the defensive players had a handful of face masks, but they don't call that. They don't call that at all. And, I hear a lot of people talking about this Jerome Boger guy that's the referee. Absolutely pitiful. I mean, I don't know a lot about a lot of these referees and stuff like that, but this guy should never referee another game as long as he lives. Him and his crew are absolutely some of the worst referees I have ever seen in my life. They already call the most penalties. They average the most penalties per game for an officiating crew. And, I mean, they call some of the worst penalties in this game. I mean, they called a hold on Delaney Walker on a touchdown pass where I didn't see a hold at all. I saw face mask on the defense, and that should have been touchdown, should have been called on that. Then then you had the Malcolm Butler unnecessary roughness penalty when he was taking a receiver down. I'm like, the dude is finishing the tackle. I'm like, the dude is finishing the tackle. Why the hell are you calling that? That is a ridiculous flag. And then the one that just that was the straw that broke the back was, on an interception, and a lot of things went wrong on this one play. A, Marcus interception. 2, Tajay Sharp looked like he touched Rashad Jones, the Miami Dolphin player who intercepted the ball. He should have been downed right there, but instead they don't call that. He returns the interception some yards, got it on their side of the field, and then Andre Branch just completely illegally blindsides Taylor Lewan and basically knocked him unconscious for a minute. And now Taylor Lewan might be able to go against the Houston Texans. So we got to see if Taylor Lewan is even going to be able to go this week, which I think Taylor Lewan is going to do everything in his power to go this week because, he's a tough son of a gun. He ain't going to let this stop him from playing. So I think Taylor Lewan's going to go. But the worst thing about that call is they don't even call a penalty on Andre Branch. They basically said, yep, we're going to allow this cheap shot. They allow the cheap shot, and they have the nerve to call taunting on Dion Lewis. I'm like, where was the taunting? And that ended up causing a melee, between both teams, and they had to gain control. And of yourselves in this game. You can't lose composure. And I know a lot of people thought the Titans just completely broke down, lost composure, lost control. And now when I saw that crackback, I'm like, I see why there was some retaliation. But I'm like, Eyes Watch, what's up, bro? Adrian, how's it going? And I can see why there was some retaliation, but you still got to gain control, keep control of yourself. But yes, you look out for your teammates, and I understand that. But we have to keep control and composure, and stuff like that. Let Miami be the idiots, and the rest can call the flags on them. And we don't need any other flags on us because, we don't need any players getting ejected or anything like that. Although Branch should have been ejected, for what happened and everything with that. And I just thought that was absolute bull. I thought that was absolute crap with them not calling that play. And AZ Mick, I'm going to get to your question in a minute because I'm going to talk about the defense. But I just thought that was egregious. I thought that was ridiculous on that particular play. But that was basically indicative of how this game was going. And, so Marcus got hurt. Lewan gets hurt. Gabbert has to come in. And, Gabbert did okay, not great. He led a drive with Dion Lewis scoring, got us back in the game. Of course, some bad things still happen after that. And then the perfect ending to a screwed up day, Delanie Walker. Delanie Walker catches the pass, gets a first down, ends up dislocating his ankle. They put him on IR today. He's out for the season. And, yes. And, I'm going to be talking about not giving up, but yes, with that, happening to Delanie, that was a devastating loss to our offense. That is a huge loss. And I mean, we had injuries happen to the three most important players on this offense. Three guys that we have to have in order to really flourish as an offense. And all three of them suffered some kind of an injury in this game. Marcus with the elbow in the hand on his throwing hand. Lawan concussion possibly. And then Delanie Walker lost for the season. This game couldn't have gotten any worse, for the Titans. But, so a lot of bad things happened in this game, and the Titans lost this game for a lot of bad reasons. And one of them was, the injuries to the offense and just some poor officiating. Number two, I said, get pressure on Ryan Tannehill. And we did not do that very well at all. We did not get a lot of pressure on Tannehill. Tannehill looked decent at times. We only had one sack in the entire game, and that was from Kamale Correa. And I forgot to mention this also. I will give props to the offensive line, especially to Kevin Pamphill and Dennis Kelly, who did a very good job on Wake and Robert Quinn. No sacks from the Dolphins as far as that is concerned. So, Pamphill stepped in for Taylor Lewan and played left tackle and did pretty well. But back to the defense. They did not get a lot of pressure on Tannehill at all, and they've got to do a better job of that because it doesn't get any easier. Next week we got Deshaun Watson. If we don't get no pressure on him, Deshaun Watson is going to pick us apart, and that is something we do not want to see. We do not want to see like what he did to us in Houston last year. We cannot afford to have that happen. So Dean Pease is going to have to fix this. And, hopefully Harold Landry comes back and everything, but we need some pass rush. And we got to get effective because if you don't do that, then the play like the bomb that Kenny steals that Malcolm Butler had to cover, and that's a weakness because Malcolm Butler, the deep ball is his weakness. If anybody goes deep against Malcolm Butler, that's an advantage to the offense. But that's why pass rush is very important. If you have a good pass rush, then that might prevent that type of play from happening. And also, you got to have a safety back there to help him on that so that you don't leave Malcolm Butler out to dry. And so I just think that may have been a bad defensive play call, but stuff like that happens. We have to deal with it. But, defensively as a whole was average, could have been better. They did not do well against the run early on, which was why Miami was able to, take control of the game because Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore was getting some positive yards because we weren't stopping the run. So I don't know what happened to our run defense, but that's something that's got to be cleaned up. And a lot of these things that happen are correctable, which is a good thing. I think, Byard had a couple of chances at some interceptions. Vaccaro had an interception. Malcolm Butler, even though he got beat deep, he definitely caused an interception on Gesicki when the Dolphins were driving. I believe that was off. I want to say that might have been off of the interception if I'm not mistaken. That might have been off of something different. But I think if Malcolm Butler doesn't slip, I think that's a pick six. And AZ Mick, you're absolutely right. There were a lot of missed tackles. I do agree with that. And as far as Adoree Jackson is concerned, I think he's going to be okay. He got hurt on the punt return thanks to Brendan Trawick. And that's another thing with special teams. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. But I think Adoree' okay because he did finish the game. He came back and finished the game. And there were a lot of missed tackles. But, I just think defensively, there are some things that need to be fixed. I think we're getting some guys back. I don't think Derek Morgan was 100%. He tried to go, but I think he'll get better. I don't know, what happened to Orakpo because I think he got hurt a little bit. But obviously, I think he might be fine because I didn't hear much about him. And hopefully Landry and Evans will start to come back, maybe have a full week of practice and get these guys back on the field because we're going to need them. Special teams, I think there was some good and some bad. Bad was giving up a kickoff return to Jakeem Grant, and I blame that on Suckup. Suckup should have kicked that out of the end zone. That guy is very fast. That is a guy you do not want to give a chance of returning any kind of a kick because that guy is fast. That's like in Kansas City. You don't kick to Tyreek Hill. You find a way to either kick it, punt it out of bounds, or you kick it through the end zone. And that's going to be the same thing next week when we play Houston. If Will Fuller is back there returning kicks or punts, kick it out of the end zone and don't punt it to him. You can't do that because, on that punt return, we just scored a touchdown to tie the game at 10, and we were back in the game. Momentum is coming back our way, and then the very next play, kickoff return for a touchdown, which takes the momentum away from us. So, there's some work that has to be done with that. And Brendan Trawick, and I want y'all to give me some Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week nominations and also Dunce of the Day nominations. I already mentioned Dion Lewis and Corey Davis. They could be Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week nominees. But I think Brendan Trawick could be a Dunce of the Day nominee because if it wasn't for him running into his own guy, Adoree' was already making a very decent return. If it wasn't for that, Adoree' might have returned that for a touchdown, or at worst, he probably returns it inside of the 40, maybe inside close to the 30, and we're in business for a chance to do some damage on a short field. So I think Brendan Trawick is a Dunce of the Day nominee for that because not only did he get in Adoree's way, he hurt him a little bit, maybe in the shoulder or in the groin, but I think Adoree' is okay because he did come back in the game and finish the game. So he came back in, which he showed some toughness, and I like that with Adoree'. And then another good thing that happened was I believe we went down 2 scores. I think it was 24-10 after the Kenny Stills touchdown, and then we come right back. They kick it short. Darius Jennings returns it 94 yards for a kickoff return for a touchdown that cut the lead to 24-17. So there was some good and some bad from special teams, and I like that AZ Mick nominating Darius Jennings for a Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week because that was a big play. So there were some big plays that happened in this game for the Titans, just not enough with that. So, there were some good and bad on that as well. But my last thing I want to get to before we do get to, any other pick my brain questions. So if y'all got some other questions for me, talk to me. And also then our Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week and Dunce of the Day picks, and then I'm gonna go into my rant to end the show. But last but not least, I have to look at coaching. I know Mike Vrabel, this was his first real game as the head coach. This was Matt LaFleur's first game actually calling plays. And, I think Mike Vrabel and Matt LaFleur and Dean Pease did a few good things, but at times I do feel like Mike Vrabel got very much out-coached by Adam Gase. And so I was listening to Jared and the GM. I was in Memphis. I was coming back today from Memphis, and I was listening to Jared and the GM on 102.5 The Game, and they were giving out grades. And Jared gave, a grade of a D for Mike Vrabel's coaching. And I agree with that. I think at best maybe a C minus, but I would say definitely a D. And I want to ask y'all this on YouTube. What would y'all give a grade for Mike Vrabel in his first game as a head coach? I know the weather was a part of it and everything, but what would you give him as a grade for his first game? And obviously, I think Mike Vrabel was nominated for Dunce of the Day, so I definitely understand that. But what grade would you give Mike Vrabel in his first head coaching job? What about, and also Matt LaFleur too, what kind of grade would you give him? Me personally, I'm going to say a D, Mike Vrabel. I think a D, maybe a C minus, but I think I'm definitely going to go with a D for Mike Vrabel. I think that it's a lot that he had to learn, and I think it's a lot of things he will get better at in this game. And, Floyd Reese, former GM of the Tennessee Titans on the show, basically gave Mike Vrabel a B, which I thought was ridiculous. I'm thinking, Mr. Floyd, what are you thinking, sir? Did you not watch the same game we watched? And, but I do agree with one thing that Floyd did say about that. I think he had the team, he kept the team in the game despite everything bad that was happening in this game, with that. So I do agree with Floyd on that point that, given the circumstances of everything that happened, him and Matt and Dean kept this team in the game, but he still got out coached. There were still a lot of things that went wrong. The challenge, I know a lot of people were upset about the challenge. I was not. I thought that wasn't too bad of a challenge to go on. I just would have liked to have seen some more fire from Mike Vrabel on the sideline, especially with the refs. I mean, they had a series called Ignite the Fire. I didn't really see a lot of fire from Mike Vrabel at times. Very even keel, but I mean, come on. I got to see some passion, definitely. And I see Adrian, a.k.a. Oz Watch, Star of the Day, Dion Lewis. I kind of like that one too. But, I think coaching has to improve. I understand it's the first game for Mike Vrabel, first game for Matt LaFleur calling plays. There's still some work to be done. But this is just the first game of the year, but I think some better things will come. So we're going to find out. We're going to definitely find out. And, the questions a lot of people asked, how will Mike Vrabel handle adversity? We're going to find out. We're going to learn a lot about this team this week going into this Houston game, which on Wednesday, that's going to be the next show on Wednesday here on YouTube Live, is previewing the Houston game coming up. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about with that. So there's some work that has to be done. And yes, and AZ Mick, that is exactly, I am glad you mentioned that. Talking about Malcolm Butler intercepted pass. A game was delayed again and messed up the momentum. That's another thing. I want to say a Dunce of the Day nominee, yes, two of them. One has to be the officials. Jerome Boger, or whatever his name was, could be a nominee. And I also have to nominate Mother Nature. Mother Nature should be a Dunce of the Day nominee as well, because she was an absolute B in this game. She got involved in this game a little bit too much, and she screwed us over too. Mother Nature screwed us over as well. I'm not even going to lie about that. I know some people might call me crazy, but I'm just telling my truth. Mother Nature helped screw the Tennessee Titans in this game, and let me tell you why. Number one, this game lasted 7 hours and 10 minutes. It will go down as the longest game in the history of the National Football League. 7 hours. The game started at noon. The game did not end until right at 7 o'clock. A little bit after 7, the game is over. You dealt with 2 weather delays that each lasted over 2 hours by themselves. And you still had to play a game. And it was one of the weirdest games that you had to deal with because, you had everything going okay. Weather delay, for lightning. And I heard a guy on a show comment talking about what is it with Florida and lightning? And they having to delay because it was like 6 miles away. Newsflash. That was an NFL thing. If there's a threat of lightning anywhere in the vicinity of a stadium, they're going to do that in any stadium or any game. It's not just in Florida. That is for any game. Because, for example, this was even happening in college. I was in Memphis, and I was there for the Southern Heritage Classic. That is a big game that happens in Memphis every year between Tennessee State University and Jackson State University. Those 2 collegiate teams get together. And the game was canceled on Saturday. They postponed the game because of lightning and rain. And they never got the game. And they ended up canceling the game altogether. But it was because of lightning in the area. And so they postponed the game because of that. And, Adrian, you're definitely right. I see you have Dunce of the Day nominee for Vrabel about the timeouts, and I forgot to mention that. But, weather delay, it basically happened all weekend. But the bad thing about these weather delays that really got me, because it took forever for everything to get back on course, because I had to sit and watch the Giants and the Jaguars play all game, and then turn around and have to watch the Cowboys and the Panthers playing. I'm like, I'm not, yes, I am trying to learn to watch more games and other teams as well to become more fluent in the NFL scheme of things. But I'm like, I'm here trying to get the Titans in. I'm sitting there watching the game. I want to watch the Titans, and then I'm trying to relax after that. Instead, when the game should have been over with at 3 o'clock, we don't get the game going back good until 5 o'clock, until almost 6 o'clock to finish this game. And so you had the 2 weather delays because one happened, the Titans were driving, with the last minute and a half, last 1 minute and 11 seconds of the second quarter, bang, weather delay for 2 hours. And so after 2 hours, they come back, warm up, and then at about close to 3 o'clock, they basically said, okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to play the last 1 minute and 11 seconds. We're going to take a TD timeout, and then we're going to go right into the second half. So basically, for the first time ever, there was really not a halftime. They basically said the 2 hours for the weather delay, that was the halftime. And then they had to go straight into the third quarter and play that. And then in the middle of the third quarter, another weather delay happens. And the worst thing about these weather delays, they came at the worst time. Every time the Titans had the ball, there was a weather delay. It just seemed like every time we were gaining momentum, and, had a chance to either get back in the game, make the game close, or make something happen, there's a weather delay. Perfect example. Titans get the ball back after stopping the Dolphins on 4th down. They got a chance to maybe go for a touchdown to take the lead going into the half, or at least kick a field goal to make it a 1-point game going into the half, which really, if it's 7-6, they could have kicked the field goal, went up 9-7 at the half, and then bang, weather delay, stopped the momentum, and then I think what happened was the drive stalled and we ended up going into halftime. And then again in the second half, The Dolphins drive. Malcolm Butler picks off the pass. Could have been a pick six. He slips. And then right when we're about to take control of the ball, bang, another weather delay. So I'm like, that stopped momentum twice on us. So that made me think Mother Nature and the football gods were against us as it is. And so then, another 2 hours or so go by. We come back out. First play after the weather delay, a screen pass, a little bit overthrown, picked off by Kiko Alonso. And it sucked all the momentum out of us because of these weather delays. So, yes, I nominate Mother Nature as a Dunce of the Day nominee with that. So, that just killed me for this game because I'm thinking, yes, in any game, it's already hard to beat another team. It is hard to beat another team. It is extremely hard to beat another team and the refs. It is basically impossible to try to play a game against the Dolphins. You're playing against the refs, and now you're playing against Mother Nature as well. All three of them against you. It's just impossible to win under those conditions. And with all of that going on, we still in the game and down 27-20, after a 53-yard field goal. And, we couldn't get the ball back. But, still fighting to the end. I'll give a little bit of that. But probably shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. So I just hated that with the weather delays. And I see also Adrian going off of Vrabel saying Vrabel burned all his timeouts before the last 3 minutes of the game. Vrabel didn't have the team prepared. Vrabel let the refs have their way with the team. He should have gotten thrown out. And like I said, I agree with that. I didn't see a lot of fire from Vrabel, and I think a lot of inexperience showed in this game with him. And I think that may be something that he'll get better at as he coaches. We all got to remember that was his, and I'm not making an excuse for Vrabel. I agree. His game management was not good. I agree with that 100%. His game management was horrible. You're burning timeouts in the first half, and then you burn timeouts in the second half. The challenge didn't go that way. And then on a 3rd and 21 later in the game, you don't have enough guys on the field to run the play. You got to burn a timeout there too. So I'm like, come on. You got to know better than that. You've got to have it all together. And right now, Mike Vrabel did not have it together with that. So I definitely do understand that. But now we're going to quickly go into my favorite portion of the show, and it's called Pick My Brain. Pick My Brain. And we're going to go ahead and go back into that. So Pick My Brain is back. And I'm going to go back and look at some questions. Of course, Mick asks, is Adoree Jackson okay? Of course, I answered that saying he finished the game. They thought he might have had a shoulder injury, but he came back in the game after that punt return and finished the game. And so I think Adoree Jackson's going to be fine. AZ Mick asks, who will be the go-to guy now without Delaney? I think we're going to find that out. It's time for Corey Davis to step up and take the leadership role of this wide receiver group. Or Rashard Matthews is going to have to step up and take over. And, Taywan Taylor, he's going to have to catch passes because the one target he had, he should have caught it and reeled it in. And the most important person out of all of this is Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith is going to have to be a man now. Take off the training wheels. He's going to have to learn trial by fire. Jonnu Smith is going to have to grow the F up now. And he's going to have to become an impact player. He's going to have to block better. He's going to have to run routes better and catch passes. Jonnu Smith better step up. He better take on this challenge and basically say, you know what? Delaney Walker went down. He's my mentor. He's taught me a lot. I got to step up for him. And this whole offense needs to do that. This whole offense needs to rally together. Do this for Delaney because he would kill to be out with this team if he could have, if that ankle wasn't hurting. If it was just a little bit injured, Delaney would have played through it. And this is going to be the manhood of this offense is going to be tested now throughout this season. So it is time for Jonnu to grow the F up. It is time for Corey Davis to be like the number 5 pick we've chosen and man up. It's time for Taywan Taylor to step up. It's time for Rashard Matthews to get his ass in the game. And, we're going to see Luke Stocker and Anthony Ferkser is going to be up now. We're going to see what he's made of. So it's time for this entire offense to step the F up. And we're going to find out going further in this season what's going to happen with that. Of course, Adrian says this is the worst game I've ever witnessed. I think this is one of, besides the Houston game last year in Houston, I would say would that be as well. Adrian said Watson will run all over the defense without a pass rush. We're going to find out. They better bring a pass rush on them and everything and just don't leave the middle of the field open like they did the last time. Adrian said this is the first game of the season that the coaches have the team ready to play. We saw some good in spurts from both sides of the ball, but I think as a whole, Vrabel has to do a better job of being consistent and making sure this team is ready to play. And Matt LaFleur has to be consistent in his offensive calling as well. But I think there are a lot of good things that we can keep our head up about. But Vrabel has to have this team better prepared to play and through everything. You got to be able to play through the elements. You got to be able to play with distractions. You got to be able to play when things like this happen. And don't get me wrong. This was insurmountable for Mike Vrabel. And I am not making excuses for Mike Vrabel. Again, he did not coach the game very well. But with it being his first game, and you're dealing with weather, 2 weather delays, 7 hours of game time, that's a lot for a coach in his first game to have to deal with. But Vrabel could have been better. I definitely agree with that. So I think they need to be better at having the team ready to go and making adjustments. Let's see. I'm going to go with a couple more questions. Adrian says, has Mariota shown he is the franchise quarterback? He's around for a few years now. I was listening to the Eric Hasseltine show on 92.9 FM in Memphis. And, no, it wasn't the Eric Hasseltine show. It was a different show. But they were talking to a former radio show host from 102.5, Jason Fitz, who does national shows now. And the question came up. The host asked, is Marcus Mariota, would you pay Marcus Mariota $100 million right now based on this game and his past body of work? He said, no, he's not worth $100 million. And I agree with that. Right as of right now, even though I still believe in Marcus Mariota, I still want him to do well. I would not pay him $100 million right now. And, and Fitz said it best. Right now, the Titans have backed themselves into a corner because this is supposed to be the big year for Mariota. They already picked up his 5th-year option for next year, so he's already going to get paid $20 million next year. The question is going to be, are we going to pay Marcus Mariota that big contract, this coming off season? And I don't know if they're going to do that. And what makes matters worse is, there's not a good backup quarterback out there, that you could just bring in. Blaine Gabbert, he's not really the answer. And if Blaine Gabbert has to play for an extended period of time, which he had to play a lot of yesterday, and if he has to go against Houston, it's not a good look with that. And then the draft, you already wasted a pick with Luke Falk. I don't know if they could bring him back to the practice squad because I don't know if Miami cut him or not. I'll find that out. But you may have to look at drafting a quarterback early next season in the draft next year. because, and the thing is, I don't know who the big-time college quarterbacks are right now. There's really no answer at the moment, and we'll find that out. There may be a big-time quarterback that comes loose, but I have heard this might not be a good year, this year, going into next year's draft, which is here in Nashville, to go after a quarterback. So I don't know. They might have bet the farm on Marcus. Marcus better step up and come through, or else the Titans could be in a lot of trouble. So we're gonna find out. But right now, I don't think Marcus Mariota is a franchise quarterback as of now, but I still think he can be that. But the only way Marcus is going to be able to do that, he has got to shake this injury-prone image out. Because if he does not go in this game against Houston, that's basically going to be the namesake. Marcus is injury-prone. We said that about Jake Locker being injury-prone, and now we're saying that about Marcus Mariota. And it seems like all we've gotten is injury-prone quarterbacks since Steve McNair. Now, Vince Young was not injury-prone. He was intellectually unable to lead an offense. He was fine as far as physically, but mentally he didn't have it. Jake was trying to learn the offense, but he didn't have it physically. Same thing with Marcus right now. It seems like Marcus just does not have it physically because it seems like he's getting hurt. And we're going to find out if Marcus can go this week, because if he does not practice at some point this week, the label of injury prone is going to be all over the map for Marcus Mariota. That's all we're going to be hearing, is that he's not injury prone. He's not worth the money, and all he's doing is getting hurt. He hasn't played 16 games. Doesn't look like he's going to go through a full season this time. That's going to be the MO. And so Titans are pigeonholed, but they're going to have to ride this thing out. And that's exactly what we got to do. We're going to have to toughen up, and we're going to have to ride this baby out. That's what we're going to have to do. Another question, Adrian said, what position group does the Titans have the advantage at over Houston? That's a very good question. I don't know. And that's something I'm gonna probably think about going into the Houston game. When we preview the Houston game, that's probably a question that I'm gonna ask. I'm probably gonna wonder, who does have an advantage. So we're gonna find out, because Houston's gonna have Deshaun Watson. They're gonna have DeAndre Hopkins. They're gonna have J.J. Watt. They're gonna have Whitney Merciless. They're gonna have Jadeveon Clowney coming back. So they're healthy now. So we're going to find out. And we're going to see where they have an advantage in. And that's something we're going to find out. And then, of course, do the Titans miss Avery Williamson? I think that remains to be seen. I think run defense has taken a bit of a hit. I don't know, because I don't even know if Avery Williamson played a lot with the Jets tonight, but the Jets looked awfully good tonight. I don't know where that came from with the Jets, but they looked amazing tonight because they were absolutely hammering the Detroit Lions. They were up 48-17 last time I checked, and I'm pretty sure the Jets won that game in blowout fashion. I think we're fine without Avery Williamson, but we got to see if Rashaan Evans comes back, is ready to go, and we got to see what happens with that. So I think, like I said, we got to ride this baby out, and we're going to find out what this team is made of. We're going to find out if this is a tough team, because if they're not, we're going to be in for a very long season indeed. Very long season. But, and if there's any other questions that do come through, I'll answer them. But right now, let's finish up the show. We had some nominees for Star of the Week. Of course, I mentioned Corey Davis, also Darius Jennings. Definitely was a nominee. But I think the winner of the Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week, I would have picked Corey Davis, but the Two-Tone Blue Star of the Week is Dion Lewis. And Dion Lewis had one a pretty nice game, actually. He was very he was elusive. He did a lot of really good things in this game. I'm actually trying to pull up the stats now. Dion Lewis had 16 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. He had a very nice 26-yard gain. He also had a good move where he, made a spin move and did some things effectively. He also caught 5 passes for 35 yards out of the backfield as well. So Dion Lewis over 100 all-purpose yards. And so Dion is showing he might be worth the penny. And he's going to be a difficult problem for a lot of teams. So I definitely like Dion Lewis as the two-tone blue star of the week. Congratulations to, as Jared would call him, the little dog. We got the big dog in Derrick Henry and the little dog in Dion Lewis. So I probably would like to call those two guys the dogs. Basically, I'm going to have to come up with a name for that, for those two, definitely a couple of big bad dogs that do the job. So I think, two-tone blue star of the week, Dion Lewis. Dunce of the day. When there's always a star, there's always a dunce. Somebody who just completely messed up things. And, I'm going to, and I'm going to give an honorable mention. I'm going to give 2 honorable mentions. One to Jerome Boger, the referee. I think he was bogus. He was a ridiculous referee. So he's an honorable mention. And another very close honorable mention, somebody who I think could have gotten it, is Mother Nature. Mother Nature is a dunce of the day honorable mention. I agree with that totally. But the dunce of the day has to be Coach Mike Vrabel, because he kind of stunk it up at times as the coach in this game. Granted, it was his first game, and with the weather delay and the conditions, but still, burning timeouts at the worst time, not managing the clock or the game very well, that's on Mike. And, I'm pretty sure somewhere in the beach house in Florida, Mike Mularkey was probably sitting back thinking, see, I took this team to the playoffs. Things weren't broke. Why did you try to fix something that wasn't broke? But in that act, I would have said this to Mike Mularkey. Mike, all you had to do was fire Terry Robisky. If you had fired Terry Robisky, you would still be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans today. So, being stubborn and sticking with Robusky cost you your job. So that's why he wasn't the head coach of the Tennessee Titans right now. But I know he was probably sitting back thinking that. But Vrabel's going to have to do a better job of managing the game. Because if you don't do that, you're setting this team back. And that's something that we cannot afford to do now. Because there are a lot of high expectations on this team to get back to the playoffs and to compete and win this division. And anything less than a playoff berth is a failure of a season. And with the way this game went, if the Titans don't pick it up, 0-4 is a possibility, unfortunately, because this schedule does not get any easier. You got Houston, you got Jacksonville, you got Philly after that. And if Blaine Gabbert has to go in this game, you got to think J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and Whitley Merciless are like just licking their chops. They are like, we can't wait for Sunday if that is the case. So we're going to find out, again, what this team is really, really made of with that. So before I get out of here tonight, because I know I done probably talked y'all head off over 50 minutes and everything, and I did not expect to go this long, but I just had to let out some stuff. And I need to vent for just a minute to everybody. Let me tell y'all something right now for all y'all Titan fans out here who are panicking or who are giving up on the Titans or who are jumping off the bandwagon, so to speak. A true fan of any team sticks with the team, whether it is good or bad. You stick with your team. You don't just come around and be a fan of the team when things are good, and then when something bad happens, you're like, you know what? I'm done with this team. I'm not going to be with them anymore. No, you do not do that. Which is why I will say another honorable mention has to go to some of these fair weather bandwagon Titan fans out here. That's why I'm calling some of y'all out that might be watching. I'm calling some of y'all out because some of y'all have betrayed this Titan team because of one bad game. Bad games happen. It's the NFL. It's a tough league. Players got to toughen up, and we have to toughen up as fans. Tighten up is not just a cliche or a slogan. It means something. Tighten up means to step up. It means to tighten up, come together, go out there and bust another team in the mouth. That is what tighten up means to me. And if you're not willing to tighten up, and I'm going to say this tonight, and excuse my language for what I'm about to say. If you're going to be a type of fan that's going to be fair weather, only be with us when things are good, and then talk crap and talk about, oh, this team sucks. I'm not with them no more. I can't believe in them. Then get the F out of here. We don't want you with us. Titan fans, we got to stick together. We got to stick with this team because they need us. On Sunday at Nissan Stadium, we need to be out in droves. And as a matter of fact, I am challenging every Titans of Truth listener and anybody under the sound of my voice that is watching this game right now, meet me in the north end zone before the game starts, around section 143, close to that Jumbotron. Because I might try to see if I can do a quick live before the game starts. Or we going to have a huddle up, a roundup for Titans of Truth. I am challenging y'all to meet me in the northern end zone, because I'm only going to be wearing one of two things. Either my number 70 light blue Titan jersey with Newell on the back, or I'm going to be wearing, and most likely, y'all know me, I'm going to be wearing this. My Titans of Truth shirt. I'm going to be wearing this. That or my jersey. One of the two I'm going to be wearing. And I challenge all of you out there to come find me before the game starts. I dare you. Matter of fact, I'm going to be like in A Christmas Story. I double dog dare all of you. Because, let me talk some of y'all off the ledge right now. It is just week 1, ladies and gentlemen. I understand a lot of bad things happened yesterday with this team. Delaney Walker out for the season. Yes, that is a devastating blow. It hurts big time. But that means that we got to rally around Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis, Taywan Taylor, Taylor Lewan. Hopefully he comes back, from concussion protocol. But if he doesn't, then that means we gotta come together for Kevin Paphill and Dennis Kelly to keep going until Jack Conklin and Taylor Lewan come back. We gotta rally around Marcus. And if for some reason he cannot go, we gotta rally around Blaine Gabbert. I know a lot of us do not believe in him and don't think he's any good, and he's probably not. And it is not a good thing if Gabbert has to go. But no matter what, we still have to cheer for this team. We still need to have their back because they're going to need us now more than ever with what's going on with this team. They need us. Y'all need to step the F up. Every last one of y'all, myself included. I'm going to step up too. We all need to step up. And I'm sick and tired of all of the negativity that I have seen and heard today, whether it been on Jared and the GM or from my guys Austin and Zach on A to Z Sports. So much negativity from everybody out there. Get a grip. Wake the F up, okay? It is just week 1. The season is not over because of what happened. It's next man up. Injuries happen. People go on IR all the time. Think of the Houston Texans, perfect example. J.J. Watt goes out for the season, goes on IR. Devastating blow to that defense. What happened that year? All they did was end up finishing at the top-ranked defense in the NFL. Without J.J. Watt, ladies and gentlemen. And I hate the Houston Texans as an example, but it is a good example. J.J. Watt was out for the season, hurt, their best defensive player, and they still finished #1 in total defense. I want to say back in 2016, I want to say. So the fact of the matter is, no matter what happens with this team, we have to stick with them through the good and the bad. I've been a Titans fan for 21 years now. 21 years since 1997. And that was before they moved to Nashville, to here in Nashville, Tennessee. And the fact of the matter is, there have been a lot of good times from, when Eddie George Steve McNair first got there to when they went 6-10 in their only year in Memphis and nobody was showing up to that game before they came up here to Vanderbilt. Good times from finishing 13-3 and within a yard of winning the Super Bowl, to Steve McNair. We started off 1-4 one year back in, I want to say 2003, and we reel off 10 of our last 11 and get to the AFC Championship game, to going 5-11 and 4-12, getting hit with the injury bug for 2 straight years, to now through 13-3 with Kerry Collins as the quarterback, to going through the Ken Wisenhunt years, which were horrible, by the way, 2-14, Malarkey taking over, Munchak going 6-10, Tommy Smith completely running this team into the ground, Bud Adams' last days. Been through the ringers, y'all. But I still stick with this team no matter what, because that is what a real fan is. And as much as I dislike some of the Dallas Cowboy fans, I know some people that have been Dallas Cowboy fans for over 30-some years. And they don't choose no other team. I ain't hear them talk about no other team. I'll give an example. One of my good friends, Miss Clara Bennett, if she out there listening, hey, Miss Clara, she sticks with her Cowboys. I'll give her that. And she's a friend of the show. She supports Titans and Truth. She is a diehard Cowboys fan to the heart. And she sticks with that team no matter what Jerry Jones' dumb butt does. That's a real fan for you. That is an example of a real fan. And I want to know where all my real fans at. Stand the F up for this team. Tighten the F up. And as Miss Loretta would say, tighten up. We don't lighten up. So some of y'all out there, stop lightening up and tighten up. I don't want to hear all of this. Oh my God, this is bad. We're doomed. I don't want to hear that no more. You either stick with us or you get the F out. And I'm dead serious about that. And if y'all listen to this show and because of what I'm saying, I done hurt your feelings, I am so sorry. And if y'all don't like it, hey, it's okay. Y'all can leave too. Because I know there will be real TNT fans and there will be real Titan fans that support this show and support this team. So yeah, as Adrian is saying and some other people say, yeah, I'm going in on Titan Nation right now. I sure am. I am going in. Get a grip and get it together. Quit with this sob story. Quit being sad. We all overreacted today. Boo-hoo, we lost. It was a bad game. Okay, that was yesterday. My high school coach, when I play high school ball, would tell us this anytime. Between a win or a loss, he would say, even after a win, he would tell us, hey, enjoy this victory tonight, Tomorrow when we come back into the building, that game don't exist anymore. We move on to the next game. We move on to the next opponent. Same thing with a loss. You know, it's all right to be upset now, but tomorrow coming in, that game no longer exists, and we get ready for the Houston Texans. That's the mindset every last one of us need to have. And Adrian said, lay it on us. I sure am. Yeah, I'm going in. Yeah, I am. And I have done a double dog dare. Yeah, I'm getting everybody fired up. Y'all better be fired up. So y'all better get it together. And I'm going to keep firing everybody up all season. I ain't going nowhere. So get it together, Titan Nation. Wake up, tighten up, don't lighten up. And let's get it together and let's pull this thing out and we go ahead and let's get some winning done. Who knows? We might reel off 15 in a row. Probably won't happen, but it's possible. Anything is possible. Anything can happen with next man up. I mean, Blaine Gabbert won 2 games last year with us and the Jaguars that he was not supposed to win. Who says he can't do it here? Yes, he's not that great of a quarterback. But the good thing about this system is we don't have to completely change everything because, of the quarterback. But I'm hoping Mark can still go. But still, rally around this team. So on Sunday, crowd around the television or get your butt down to Nissan Stadium and watch this team. If you ain't got a ticket, get one. And join me in the North End Zone. I'm going to be in section 143. Y'all know where I'm going to be at every single home game. And I ain't going nowhere anytime soon. And so I say this in closing. Forget glass half empty. Glass half full. Yes, Delaney Walker is gone. But let's rally around this team for him. Let's do it for Delaney. Because he would kill to be out there on that field and for us to be out there with him. So let's do it, y'all. Step the heck up. And I hope y'all understand that. And thank y'all for tuning in to Titans and Truth. Support Craft Gaffney Creations and my cousin Crystal Cleveland on these shirts. Talk to her, get up with her. And Wednesday night, we're going to preview the Texan game. I ain't going to talk no more about the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be all about Houston on Wednesday for Titans and Truth. I hope y'all join me. And I hope y'all take that to heart and step up. If your feelings are hurt, that means you need to step up. Plain and simple. My name is Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. Thank y'all for tuning in. I apologize for going over. But, hey, spread the word out. Share the show. You know to hit up the TNT Enforcers page on Facebook, at Titans_N_Truth on Instagram, TNT Enforcer on Twitter, and the website, titansandtruth.wixsite.com. Y'all know where to go. I'm going to holler at y'all. Titans and Truth, tighten up, don't lighten up. Let's go get this win.